and how to operationalize AI and predictive analytics. So we've got I think we've got a really good group of guys who, some of guys who are in the field every day working through lots of issues where AI may be a part of, some of them who focus solely on AI. So I think you'll get a few different perspectives, and we'll introduce everybody as we get started. So as long as everybody's ready to go, let's go ahead and get kicked off. So first of all, just a few notes to get everybody kind of familiar with just everything. I know most of you guys, if you've come here before, you've probably seen most of this. This is probably a review for you, but just so you're aware, there is a QA panel. We do ask as you go through this, especially since this is a Q&A for the panel, that part is even more important today than it has been in the past. Although we always like questions, but even more so today. We do have a number of questions that we'll start off with, but we want to hear there's specific questions that you guys have, and we'll kind of talk about the order of how that will go and how we can get those answered. But we definitely want you guys to use that today. Again, we're doing another $250 drawing for gift cards. I think there's three $50 and one $100 card at the end of this. So we'll make sure to see who's on here and make sure we get those passed out. As always, we love to hear feedback, whether it's how we're doing with this webinar, or if there's certain subjects that you guys like to hear, want to hear that are particularly immediate for you guys. We'd love to hear those types of things. Again, these have been started just kind of as a conversation between us and the people out there that are using some of the same technologies you are, specifically TIBCO and IBI products. So we truly want to be able to hear what you guys hear about what we're doing and the topics that you guys may think are relevant, so we can make sure we're covering things that are certainly applicable to what you guys are seeing on a daily basis. Just over a real quick agenda, 3 to 3:15. Hopefully I will not take 15 minutes to do an introduction. So I think we'll get a little bit of extra time for the panel, but we do want to introduce everybody who is here on the panel and make sure that you guys get a really good background on who they are and their background. Also, the biggest part of this is the SME panel discussion. Again, we have 4 members that we'll introduce here in a minute that are on that panel, and we'll have some questions for them already. And then again, we want to hear your questions for them as well. So that will take up probably the most significant part of the time. The way we'll split that up is we'll probably go ahead and do a number of the ones that we already have, and then go to the demo, because I want to make sure if there's anybody who can't stay the full hour and a half, that we get the demo in, that you guys can see that, because the purpose of the demo is to be able to take some of the things that we're talking about and actually have a takeaway from this, where you can go back and do some of those things in your very own tools now. So DTO is going to do a little bit of work, kind of setting the net, but Renee will do a walkthrough of how you can use some of these things. Again, it's one broad use case, but how you can go back and you can start actually doing some of these things that we're talking about within your own job site and some of your own projects that you're working on. And so that's the purpose of that. And of course, at the end, we'll make sure we do our giveaways and any audience QA that we can't get to during the first half, we'll want to make sure that we get to in that. So hopefully this will go fairly smooth. Again, we're looking forward to having a lot of questions back and forth, and looking forward to hearing from the panel more than anything. Quick intro. I think a lot of you guys who have probably been here have probably seen this already, but just to give you a quick intro on Amtex. Amtex has been around for 20 years now, mostly in the services business. And we work on projects every day with people who are implementing data management projects, data analytics projects, and anything that kind of encompasses that. Obviously, this is a title that's very near and dear to us, as that's been a growing part of what we're working on with our clients as part of these types of things. Deep product knowledge and all the IBI stuff, and growing in the TIBCO side, as well as we are, as of last year, a new TIBCO partner as well. And again, a full length of services that go with that. If anybody's interested, I'll be more than glad to go deeper into that, but we won't do that now for the sake of time. So panel discussions, again, the title of this is how to operationalize AI and predictive analytics. This is a big and growing area I think for everybody in this field. And it's an exciting one. I mean, everybody sees AI as a great opportunity to move beyond the whole, how am I making decisions off the historical data I have, to how do I predict and even, try to prescribe things, solutions towards what my problems may be. So this is something that continues to grow, something that we continue to see more and more clients that get into, whether they're small businesses all the way up to large businesses, and truly excited to be able to have this conversation, really delve into it. The goal of this conversation is going to be more towards real world things. We do have some people on here that have, been doing this for a long time. That's their only job, but we also mixed in some people who just do this as part of part of their everyday analytics job, and how do we integrate this stuff with inside just our traditional analytics that we're already doing, because no longer is it kind of its own field, is operationalized into the day-to-day stuff that we do, and many of us are using it and probably not even knowing it. But I want to make sure that we are kind of doing things that are real world, that will be something that you guys can truly understand and kind of translate to your own business. Before we jump into that, I'm going to introduce our speakers. Again, those of you who have been coming are familiar with Dinesh. Dinesh has been with Amtex now for 15 plus years, vice president, and handles all things delivery operations and everything for Amtex, and has been a part of, I cannot tell you how many different projects. I've been privileged to work with Dinesh both at Amtex, where I am now, and at when I was a partner with his back at IBI as well. So brings a lot of experience just from development of applications, period, and data management side of things as well. As he says, UX and just how do we create actionable insights from the data and things that we're seeing. So Dinesh has a ton of experience, and he'll be talking to you more about how is that integrated with inside of some of the current projects you guys are working on. Zach Nolan also is an Amtex guy as well. Zach specializes in AI, and you'll see some of his background here. He's got a pretty cool background, including some time at NASA, but also is very integral in some of the work that Amtex is doing on one of their new projects called Secura, which is a healthcare product where they are doing all kinds of AI that is able to truly understand a patient and the types of things that can happen with them from a predictive perspective. And he'll talk more about some of those, I think, and some of the questions. Usually we'll have some use cases come up, and I'll let him talk about that. But one of the things that he's really excelled in is the cognitive AI. And again, we'll want to dig more into that with him as well and what that means. Aditya comes to us from TIBCO. Again, love partner with Aditya. He's got a ton of experience with this, even going back to IBM in his days, working with their products as well. And of course, has been with the IBI and IBI TIBCO now for, I think, about 5 years, if I remember correctly. He's on the product side, helping them create the strategy and where they're going with the products, how they're going to integrate some of the things that are with TIBCO and IBI, and where those AI and predictive things come into play. So ton of experience there. Excited to see what he has to say as well. Renee also comes to us from TIBCO as well. And Renee is out in the field showing people this stuff every day. Works is very hands-on with clients, understanding what they're trying to do and how this stuff applies to them in their general just day-to-day business, how you can use the IBI and TIBCO tools to be able to integrate that into it. And really excited to hear what she has to say as well about that too. And she's going to actually do the demo for us at the very end too. And again, show us how some of those things can be very real world for us. I'm the moderator. Of course, I work as director of sales for Amtex BI, have a long history with IBI as well, and now IBI TIBCO, and have enjoyed being able to work with tons of different clients in different capacities over my lifetime with them. It seems like a lifetime at least. Again, just being able to have those conversations with people, understand what they're trying to do, and how do we truly solve problems, whether it's just with data analytics from the data management side, and how we're applying AI and ML to be able to solve some of those problems. Key takeaways that we want to do from this, and I won't go through all these, but again, our job is today, I think, is to just kind of help talk about some of the real world things we're doing. How do you use data to drive automated decisions, and not just how things have happened in the past from a historical perspective, but how are we predicting and prescribing solutions based upon that, and using models and different things that come into that, but doing that in a very non-data scientist type of way. So there's a lot of parts of the tools now that are building towards that. I think you'll be able to hear about some of those. How do you automate better? How do you use data management as part of that life cycle? And a lot of different things, again, that I won't go through and read so we can get directly into here. But we're truly excited about